All right, what's going on? Happy Wednesday. Appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching the replay, comment hashtag replay. If you're watching the live, comment hashtag live. Drop some questions as you go along. This one's super excited for this one. This is about how to get out of your own way. Because as contractors, as men, as leaders, one of the biggest things really is mindset, right? Our lifestyle can get busy, really busy. Things pop up, especially in business. Fires show up, equipment breaks down, people quit. Maybe you got to fire some employees, you got to hire some. There's training processes and all that kind of stuff. And with that is often the case where we start telling ourselves excuses why we can't take care of our health and fitness, right? I'm too busy. I don't have the time. I don't know where to start. What do I eat? What do I do? Do I have to train at home? Do I have to go to the gym? Right? All these are very real questions at some level. But at another level, if we want to be the best version of ourselves, having that foundation as fitness helps improve business, helps improve relationships with family, have more energy to do both, having more focus to do both, especially if you're trying to scale your business. You're trying to get out of the field and be more into the office, or you're in the office already and you're trying to have that energy and mental focus to support your team, help level up everyone, start expanding. Maybe you're starting to create a franchise, right? These are all very real things, and everyone is kind of at their own different pace. They're starting off at their own level, right? Now, one of the foundational things is mindset, as I mentioned, right? And this involves getting out of your own way. Because often the case, we know what we need to do. It's just the excuses and the story we tell ourselves that hold us back, right? And those excuses and that story becomes our reality. Whether those excuses are real or not, they ultimately become our reality, right? So they might not be real in the beginning, but they do become real the more you tell yourself about it. So as a foundational level here, let's really get into the mindset end of things. And one of the things that helps with this is creating another version of you, right? Inside the academy, I call this creating your villain, right? And this isn't to be a negative version of yourself, right? When a lot of people first hear this, they hear villain, like, they think like the bad guy in the movie, right? But in this case, this villain is you, but he already has everything that you want out of life. The only difference is he went out there and made it a reality, right? He rose up to the challenge with courage instead of fear and excuses. And for the sake of fairness, he's had the same upbringing as you. He's had the same parents. He's had the same friends. He's had the same environment. The only difference is he just took more action and told himself less excuses and applied more discipline. So here's how we're actually going to create your villain. So we'll bring out the whiteboard here. So the first place we want to start are the characteristics, right? What are the characteristic traits? Characteristics. And we're just going to write 15, 25 bullet points. Back out. Who does this version of you, what are his character traits? The version that you ultimately want to become. What are his character traits that he has that you might not have right now? Does he have more courage? Does he have less fear? Is he more confident? Does he apply more influence? Does he go out and learn the skills that you might not have? Does he get coaching? Does he have more energy? Does he hold himself better? And these might be broad, they might be a little bit vague, But the more you think about them, the more it applies to you as the individual. Then the next thing you want to do here, what does he physically have that I don't? Right? Think of health, wealth, relationships here, the big three. Get detailed, right? Get detailed as much as possible. So, for example, like if you want to be, some people are more materialistic than others. What I'm really going for here in this example is a bad example would be he has lots of money. Well, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. What does that mean for you? So a good example would be, well, he's got $1 million business. He drives 2012 Porsche 911, matte black, all by the age of 32. I just kind of wrote that up, right? I just made that up as we go along, but it's descriptive, right? And, maybe for someone who's a little bit younger, that might be more relative, right? But someone who is maybe, 35, 40, 50, 60, that'll be very different for that person, right? Maybe they want more energy to play a specific sport with their kid. Maybe they want to own a $100 million franchise in certain states, right? That's where you can get really detailed, really descriptive. What does the future version of you, your villain, and I'll tell you why it's your villain, because the person you're competing against, right? So when we get detailed, when we have this description, we have our competition. So whenever those excuses kind of creep in, we start slipping back into our old habits. This is where we future pace. We start thinking like, what would the future version do in a situation to get the outcome that he wants, to make that future a reality today, or at least to move the needle forward, closer to that, right? What are his habits? Do his habits today align with who he wants to become? Really become a yes or no binary answer. And then it's just a matter of changing those habits and getting the outcome that you want in life. So now that we've got at least the materialistic things down, right? What does he physically have that I don't? Health, wealth, relationships. Be descriptive as possible, right? Maybe it's a goal for you to have a $100 million business so you can successfully send your kids to university, send your kids to college, set your kids up maybe to train them and get the skills they need to run their own business, or maybe continue your business. That's something to consider as well. So number 3 here, what does he look like? Right? We've got the characteristics of your villain. What does he physically have? And now let's get detailed on who this person actually is. What does he physically look like? How does he walk? How does he talk? And this is really important for those who are, still talking to a lot of prospective clients, especially first impressions with those prospective clients, right? Whether they know it or you know it or not, we are always subconsciously judging someone based on what they're wearing, their physical shape, how they hold themselves, how they walk, how they talk. And it's really within those first 5 to 7 seconds that those first impressions are formed in your mind. And then as the conversation continues, as you get to know the other person, you begin to develop a relationship from there. And that's not to say those first 5 seconds are out of your control. They are within your control. When you do take care of your health, when your clothes do fit better, when you do walk with confidence, when you do have conviction in your voice, all of those things show up in everything that you do, whether it's the work you're doing in the field or in the office, or how you present to yourself, to your employees, to your clients. All that does have an effect, does have an impact on everything, right? Especially at the subconscious level. Like, these aren't things, unless you're really searching for it, these aren't things that people really talk about explicitly, right? Because it goes beyond the surface level of the conversation. It goes deep into the wiring of the human mind. So what does he physically look like? What is this version of you, this future version of you? What does he physically look like? How does he walk? How does he talk? What do people think when they see him? How does he think? Does he see himself as a victim of the world, of the circumstance, and things never go right for him, and he's just looking, he just needs a break, right? Or does he take ownership for everything that happens? And does he work with the cards that he's dealt to make a positive change, to make a positive impact on the world, for his family, for his clients, for his business, for himself? Those are two very different mindsets, and they will lead to two very different outcomes in life. Understand that this villain is you when you take action today. It's all fun and games to kind of do these, what would be the proper word for them? Okay, I've got a brain fart right now. Brain fart thinking about the right word for mind. Thought experiment, if you will, right? It's ultimately a thought experiment, right? None of this makes a difference if we don't actually take action, right? But it really all starts with envisioning who you want to become, and then who is your competition, because that future version of you is your competition today. And then once you become that person, once you become your villain, and it's not become a bad person, right? It just means you've leveled up. The goals that you set to the future have finally caught up to you in the present, and you've become that person that you set out to be. But we don't stop there. We come and revisit this. And who does this villain need to look like to level up, to get to that next level? And then we restart this. What are his character traits? Because we're never perfect, right? We all have flaws. We all have areas we can improve. And it's those, if we ever tell ourselves that we're perfect, then ultimately we're saying we never need to change. And the reality is we can always improve. We can always be better. We can always do better, even on our best days, and especially on our worst, right? So kind of revisiting this, your villain is competition. Your villain is not your enemy. Your villain is who you want to become, and then aligning your actions today with that future version of you. So again, go through these character traits, go through these characteristics, 15 to 25 bullet points, write them out quick. And then what does he physically have that I don't? Really get detailed. Health and relationships. Really create that future reality for yourself. Really get detailed. Detailed to you. Any kind of vagueness. Ask yourself, especially with, I say you write, I wish, don't write, I wish. This villain has a better relationship with his wife. He has more energy for his kids. Well, what does that mean for, ask yourself, like, what does that mean for me? Right? Because that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But what do the things mean to me? And then once you peel the onion back, you're able to really see your own values. You're able to self-reflect. You're able to get more aligned with who you want to become. And then apply that with wealth, apply that with health. And what does he physically look like? How does he walk? How does he talk? What do people think when they see him? How does he think about the world around him? How does he view the world? Does he see the world as extreme ownership? Does he see it as a victim? And might not always be binary like that, depending, your mood and kind of what's going on, the day and all that kind of stuff. But typically, write about this, how you're feeling in the moment, right? And then understand this villain is you when you take action today. It really is all about action and making sure those actions align with who you want to become. But we don't know who we want to become until we create that vision for ourselves. So I encourage you to take the time to really self-reflect. Maybe you need 10 minutes, maybe you need 15, maybe you need 20, maybe you need 30, but spend that time today, however much you need, to really reflect on what you want to get out of this life. Because we only have one of these, and time really is our most valuable resource. You can always get more money. You can always get more money, and money flows like water. It comes in, it comes out. We use it to, buy materials, to make better deals with clients, to improve for coaching. Money flows like water, but it's time that goes straight ahead. We never get our time back. We could all get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? So we really don't know that. That's why it's important to see time as your most valuable resource. And that'll create urgency to make a change, because no one's going to force you to make a change. That's on you. So I hope this one hits deep today. We went really hard in the paint with mindset. This is really good stuff. I love kind of talking about this. Could ramble on and on and on, because at the end of the day, it's all about action. Do your actions align with who you want to become? Have you thought about who you want to become? If you haven't, that is the point of this. Because a lot of people get in their own way because they don't know who they want to become. They don't know what they want out of life. So don't let that be you, right? Know what you want out of life. Make sure your actions are aligned with that. So hope you guys found this helpful today. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you're looking for some help on the mindset end of things, drop a comment, shoot me a DM. More than happy to help. See you on the next one.